because we've already done duck hunting and all that stuff.
Duck soup, too.
And welcome to Overtime, brought to you by KingsCast at www.kingscast.net. I'm Keith Kornelick.
And I'm Chris Kalazewski.
And Kings fans, we have some gigantic news here. I just got to say it. Kalazewski was in an NHL commercial.
Oh, yes. Yes, I was. I had the pleasure of being in an NHL commercial for the Winter Classic. Actually shot with Luc Robitaille and Will Arnett, so it was pretty exciting.
Here's the thing, though. Kalazewski, and I've seen a cut of it. But Kalazewski was not just in the background, like that one random guy where you can see like a hint of his glasses and the beard. Kalazewski's actually in it, so look out for that on Thanksgiving. Celebrity, ladies, get your rack sign right here.
That's right, Kings fans are back, and I don't know about you, Keith, but I'm excited to talk about Kings hockey again. We obviously were at Tippecanoe last week. I had a great time there. Absolutely, it was fun. Talked to all the players. They recognized us, of course, and said, hey, thank you for what you do. It was
signed
so
a couple
sweet.
of jerseys, yeah.
Yeah, for them, it's cool. But we're back here tonight talking about Kings hockey. Going to talk about last week's games a little bit, kind of touch on that and the themes sort of related with that. Talk about the Ducks game tonight. Also going to give our recommendations for jersey purchases. And we're also going to give a couple new shout-outs to some new friends.
So here we go, episode 130, monumentally entitled Duck and Cover.
All right, Keith, so we came into a pretty busy week last week.
Yes.
We're going to quickly summarize this. Tough opponents. I mean, you look at it, they're all, except for the Wild, playoff teams. Looking brutal for a team that's sort of struggling, We came into the game at San Jose, and sort of a yardstick mark to see like how we are. I haven't played them yet this year. They're playing better as of late, so that was one of those games where it's like, okay, let's see how we're playing. I think we failed that one.
Oh, we absolutely failed. In fact, what was funny is we were in the top 8 and San Jose was out of it, so you would think that we would get a win, but no. Kings can't really buy a goal. They're not getting the right bounces. Everybody wants to fire Terry Murray. We're not ready to go there quite yet at this point. Then going into Vancouver, of course, they're out of the playoffs. Luongo's playing terrible. Now he's out with an injury. I believe it's a groin. So really rough there, but the Kings still can't figure a way, whether it's chemistry or I don't know, whether it's coaching. I think it's more of a chemistry thing, but they still can't figure out a way to come together as a team and just be that elite group that Dean Lombardi put together in the offseason.
Yeah, when they, like last week, it's like when they lose, they really lose.
Oh, yeah.
They really just find a way to bury themselves. In that Vancouver game, when they're down 3-0 after the first period, like this Kings team isn't the kind of team that's going to come back for that. It's almost like a guaranteed loss after that. So you look at that game, and they did beat Nashville, which was a solid win against a very good team, especially after a game after San Jose. But luckily we're able to play the Wild up 5-0 at one point. I think Hunter had a goal. I think even Green had a goal. Things are going well when those guys score.
Yes.
But so coming in tonight's game, back at Staples Center, we were excited to be there. Playing a Ducks team that had won. What, 1 out of the last 9 games?
1 out of 9 games. The Anaheim Ducks playing terrible hockey. People are now saying that Randy Carlyle, who just, I believe, re-signed in the offseason.
Hot seat.
That guy could go pretty quick. What's up, Kings fans? Here we are at the state. Kings, Ducks. Ducks lost 8 of 9. Kings got this. Absolutely. It's going to be a blowout. 8-0 Kings. Woo! But the Kings, coming off a good win with the Wild, and the Kings are always bad when they've had a few days off. They had 3 days off. They partied with us, of course, in Tippecanoe, hardcore, because look at us. It started off really, really well. Kings had a lot of shots on goal. They weren't getting the puck to the back of the net, but not for lack of effort.
No, a lot of power play chances too. We're looking at a Ducks team. Just watching them play. They're really like a team full of 2-3 players. Obviously, we don't like Getzlaf and Perry, but those guys are fantastic players. Solani, obviously the King's Slayer.
Still got it though, Chris.
Yeah, he still does. He's got the moves. He's got the passes. He's all over the ice. He's still driving to the net like he's in his 20s. But after the first period, it was the Kings dominated on shots. It was one of those games where it's like, okay, even though it's 0-0 after the first, this is going to end up being like a 4-0 Kings win.
Yeah.
What up, Kings fans? Enjoying one of the best rivalries in sports. That's right. It's 0-0 right now, but the Kings absolutely dominating in shots right now. I like the Kings' chances, and I'm saying this unbiased. 7-0 Kings.
And it took a power play, but the Kings did get it done. Mike Richards, my boy, Dino, finally, got another goal, which was good to see. And the Kings continued peppering them with shots. Definitely let up a little bit in the third period, but, I figured the Ducks would pull the goaltender. Anze Kopitar, Justin Williams type would get an empty netter, but no. Typical Kings fashion, circle the bullseye, miss it completely, go into overtime with the Ducks score.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was Solani, of course. You called it earlier in the game. You're like, you know what, I feel like Solani's going to score a goal, and he absolutely did. I mean, but went to overtime, and, you know, this is one of those games where it's like, normally if we're playing an East Coast team, a non-conference, non-division team, I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap if we give up a point.
Nope.
But when it's the Ducks, and they're playing horrible, and we're it's a division game, and to give up a point to them was really tough tonight. Luckily, they're able to kind of bring it in together for the shootouts, but it was really close.
All right, ended the second, and not a blowout, but a blowout in shots. Kings up 28-11 in shots, 1-0. Really good goal by Mike Richards on the power play. I still like our chances. 3-0 Kings.
It was too close for comfort for a team that's not playing well. You got to give props to Jonas Hiller. Everybody was saying Hiller, but I mean, the guy gave up 1 goal on 33 shots. That's not too bad. If Quicker Bernier did that, we'd be like, yeah.
Trade Bernier.
Yeah, of course. But that said, I don't think the Ducks played very well tonight. I mean, they were missing on a lot of passes. If bounces had gone the other way, it would have easily been 6-0 Kings, you know, something like that. But it's good to see them finally. You know, they've got a little winning streak now. We got 2 games. You know, got another game against Anaheim tomorrow. You know, at the Honda Puddle. So that'll be interesting to see. But we really do need those points. We went from 10th tonight. Now we're in 6th. So. It's crazy in the Western Conference right now.
No, it really is. I mean, shout-outs to definitely Jarrett Stoll for finally getting his shootout form again, and same with Jonathan Quick. I mean, he's a guy who was 10-0 last year, was 0-2 this year so far. Finally got his first shootout win of the season, so that was definitely good to see.
So coming into tonight, you know, obviously Scott Parson on injured reserve, Alec Martinez now on injured reserve, Dustin Penner on injured reserve. You got to call up someone. Who do you call up? You got to call up Slava Voynov. You know, he was great in his brief call-up. Andrei Laktianov, so we got 2 Russians on the team now, which is good to see. A little sketchy putting Laktianov on the left wing, you know, with Richards and Brown. Seemed to work out. Laktianov played very well tonight. But, you know, Chris, maybe this is the surge that the Kings need. You know, they were lacking offense, and a guy like Laktianov tonight had a great pass that almost resulted in a goal, and Slava Voynov, again, played a very solid game. But we might be looking at an opportunity here, you know, for these 2 guys to maybe stay up and you make some sort of kind of move.
What up, Kings fans? The game is over, and the Kings totally won that one in the extra periods. You know, I hate that we actually gave the Ducks a point, but, you know, win's a win. We go back to Anaheim tomorrow, and hopefully we keep up the momentum here and sweep this series. Go Kings.
All right, Kings fans, so it was still pretty early in the season, you know, after it was game 18 tonight, but a lot of you fans are out there thinking, which Kings player jersey should I purchase? And a lot of thought and consideration has to go into this because you don't want to have some irrelevant jersey, kind of like the Simmons one that you sold for $20 in the offseason this summer. But a lot goes into this, so we want to put together a list of, you know, safe jersey purchases to where you actually have a relevant jersey in the next 2 years.
All right, so here we go. Here's the laughable. You should absolutely not buy it. That would be Colin Fraser, Trent Hunter, Scott Parse, Davis Drewiski, Dustin Penner, and Alec Martinez.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to purchase any of those jerseys. Even if you're family, I would shy away from it because it's just not going to be relevant, especially with the King's crest in front, because I don't think we're going to really be seeing those guys for too much longer.
What if you're Hispanic? Do you get a Martinez jersey?
I mean, maybe. Then, of course, Kings fans, you have the I really, really, really like them list. And, you know, that includes Trevor Lewis, Brad Richardson, Jarrett Stoll, Simone Gagne, Ethan Morrow, Kevin Westgarth, Justin Williams, Rob Scary, Matt Green, and, of course, William Mitchell. Which, you know what, after Tippecanoe...
I don't like Ethan Morrow. I'm just saying.
No. I agree with you on that, but I would love to get a Mitchell jersey. You know, Mitchell jersey, I would totally get if he was going to be there. I mean, there's no guarantee he'll be there next year, even if it's on a 1 or 2 year deal. I don't know if he's going to be there, but I love the guy. He's one of those jerseys I would like to wear, but in the long run, it's going to be insignificant when it comes to historically, you know, wearing the King's crest and a Mitchell jersey. Yeah. You'll forget he was even on the team in 10 years. So yeah, I wouldn't go that route.
All right, so next up we have the He Could Be Awesome Someday list. That's a Russian. Yeah. That's Andrei Laktianov, Kyle Clifford, and Slava or Vyacheslav Voynov.
Yeah, so if you get those jerseys, you're looking like a genius because you're like, oh, yeah, I got it back in the early when he was like a rookie, and I knew he was going to be awesome, and I purchased that. You're kind of rolling the dice there. It's like you're in Vegas.
A slight caveat here. I did buy a Wayne Simmons jersey, and Kyle Clifford, nah.
And next we have the maybe, but at your own risk, and this might surprise some of you Kings fans, and that is purchasing either a Quick or a Bernier jersey. Now, when you buy a jersey, you want something that's going to last for a good 4 or 5 years. You know, you don't want to buy something that's going to be irrelevant in a year. So it's like Quick or Bernier. You got to really think about that. And these guys, are, I mean, obviously they're both not going to be with the team for years to come. I mean, you gotta choose one, and it's hard to say which one's safe to buy.
I say you buy a Quick jersey when they sign him to a Pecorine deal. I don't think that's going to actually happen, so I say you just kind of roll the dice there. To me, you never buy a goalie jersey.
Yeah.
Finally, we have the safest bet if you want a relevant jersey for years to come. That would be Anze Kopitar, Mike Richards, Drew Doughty, Jack Johnson, and the other one is Dustin Brown. Now, Dustin Brown, Chris, captain of the Los Angeles Kings, your suggestion here, that said his deal is going to run out in 2 years, and I don't know. I mean, Mike Richards didn't think he was going to get traded.
Well, yeah, that's
Just
a good
saying.
point. I mean, as a disclaimer, you look at those guys in Philly who are like, oh, yeah, Mike Richards, he's locked up for another 9 years. It's a total safe bet. Nothing's safe in hockey and in business. That's one of those things that, you kind of roll the dice with that. But I definitely think Kopitar, Doughty, and Richards are safe for the most part.
Well, here's the thing. The only one that has a no-trade clause is Mike Richards, but that happens at the start of next season, so pray he doesn't get traded this season.
Yeah, I don't think so. I still think you're pretty much a lead pipe lock for those last 5. They're pretty much the core.
Yeah. All right, Kings fans, we got a couple of shout-outs. First of all, to the Los Angeles Kings, for allowing us to come into Tippecanoe, interview a few players. Had a great time there.
Yeah, we actually like to consider that our event. I know there are a couple other media there this year.
It's for charity, but it's really kind of for us.
Yeah, no, it's basically a KingsCast event. I talked with Luke Robitaille beforehand. He said, it's a charity event. You guys are rock that bad boy.
Commercial star.
Yeah, exactly. So, special thanks to the Kings, Mike Altieri, Jeremy Zager, blah, blah, blah. You guys are awesome.
The next person is Katie from SimoneGagne.com.
Yes, it exists.
It absolutely exists, and it's not French-Canadian. That said, it's an awesome website. Check it out, SimoneGagne.com.
Lastly, we're going to give a shout-out to Chase, our good friend on YouTube. 12-year-old kid saved up all his money for mowing lawns and babysitting or whatever the heck he did to buy a KingsCast T-shirt. I mean, how sweet is that? Special thanks. Chase, you're awesome. He has his own, YouTube page, and he does a lot of talk on various issues out there. So it's keep up the good work, buddy, because you're doing a great job.
Absolutely. So we'll be right back at you on Saturday, hopefully, if we actually can, after the Detroit Red Wings game, or if not, sometime after. Look forward to that. I'm Keith Korneluk.
And I'm Chris Kalazewski.
Thank you for watching Overtime. Bye, KingsCast.